Hello, girls, and welcome to Standard 6th. My dear girls, right away we are in the month of May and it is too hot. During this season, we all love to relish an ice cream and even have some cold drinks. Or, what about having a cold water bath? But shall we do all these activities during the rainy or the winter season? No, not at all. So now you see how weather rules our life. Everything from where we go, what we do, all depends on weather. If the weather is cold, we would all love to have hot chocolate. And if it is the rainy season, we would love to make some paper boats and sail them in the rainwater. Every day when we get up in the morning, the first thing we do is to look out of the window and to check what the day looks like. Sometimes it may be cloudy in the morning, while in the afternoon it is sunny, and in the evening it is windy. And all these conditions tell us about the different weather. Weather keeps on changing from hour to hour, minute to minute, second to second. Weather is so important that there are daily forecasts about it in the newspaper, radio, and television. Remember, girls, weather and climate are not the same. They have different meanings. Weather. Weather is an atmospheric condition for a smaller time period. Like in a day we have 24 hours. Okay? Now for a day the weather can change. Maybe we have a hot day or during the night it may be cold. So there is a change that is taking place. But under climate, it is an atmospheric condition which stays for a long period of time, for at least 30 or more years. Example, the Thar Desert in Rajasthan. Most of the months, the Thar Desert has a hot climate. And out of the total 12 months, just in a month for 2 or 3 days, the climate may be cold or cloudy. Now, let us focus upon the different elements of weather. So let us start with the first element of weather, that is temperature. Now temperature tells us how hot or how cold the place is. Girls, before going on for a holiday, you pack your clothes according to your holiday spot. Example, if you are going to Goa during the summer, it is very clear that you will carry some light cotton clothes. But if you are traveling to some hill station, you are bound to carry woolen clothes. Now that you know your holiday spot, you will plan accordingly about your dress, about the food that you are going to have down there, and about all the other activities. So the weather forecast will tell you how hot or cold it will be, the destination that you go for your holiday. Children, the earth gets heated by the sun. When the sunlight reaches the earth, the land and the seas heat up and warms the atmosphere. Warming of atmosphere raises the temperature. The coldest weather happens near the poles while the hot weather takes place near the equator, because at the equator the sun rays fall directly overhead, that is at 90 degree. So now let us get some more information about temperature from the video.
Elements of weather. We know that temperature, atmospheric pressure, winds, humidity, clouds, and precipitation are the elements of weather. Let us know more about them. Temperature. The degree of heat of an object or the degree of heat at a place is known as temperature. Thus, the quantity by which you can compare the hotness or coldness of bodies is called temperature. Temperature is measured in degrees Celsius. Celsius is also called centigrade. Temperature is measured by an instrument called the thermometer. Temperature on a Celsius scale is read in degree Celsius. Following are the factors on which atmospheric temperature of a place depends. A. Nearness of the place to the Earth's surface. B. Latitude of the place. C. Altitude of the place. D. Height of the place above sea level. E. Distance of the place from the sea. The Earth's surface gets heated due to the heat of the sun. Hence, the air near its surface gets heated first. Then, layer by layer, the air becomes warm. Hence, the temperature near the Earth's surface is higher and decreases as we go further away from the Earth.
The second element of weather is air pressure. Air has weight and therefore it creates pressure. It is called air pressure. For example, do you know why do the astronauts going to the moon have to wear a spacesuit? And the answer to it is, on the moon there is no air and hence no air pressure. Therefore, astronauts have to wear spacesuits filled with air when they go to the moon. So now let's understand more about air pressure.
Atmospheric pressure. You might have enjoyed boating with your parents several times. Have you observed that when you sit on a boat, its one side is pressed down sideways? Actually, it happens due to the weight of your body, which you exert on the side of the boat. You must have read in your science textbook that any object has weight. Air also has weight. It is a highly compressible mixture of gases which applies pressure on the Earth's surface by exerting its weight. Thus, atmospheric pressure is defined as the pressure exerted by the vertical column of air lying above a particular area. Atmospheric pressure is measured by using a barometer. The unit of measurement of atmospheric pressure is millibar, written as MB. The variation in the atmospheric pressure from one place to another affects all weather changes. For example, the rising pressure makes the weather fine, while decreasing air pressure makes the weather cloudy and rainy. All these variations or changes in atmospheric pressure depend upon some factors. Let us know about these factors. Following are the factors on which atmospheric pressure of a place depends. 1. Temperature. 2. Altitude. 3. Density of the air.
The third element of weather is winds. Now, winds tend to blow from areas of high pressure where it is colder to the areas of low pressure where it is warmer. And this moving air is called wind. If you look up to the sky and see dark clouds, you decide very well that it's going to rain. But after some times, if you tend to see the sun up in the sky, then you are confused because you want to know where the clouds have moved. The clouds have moved here because of the wind. So, the wind is a means of transport by which water vapor moves from one part of the world to another, creating changes in temperature. Sometimes the wind can be light, pleasant, but at times it can be very strong, causing storms. So now let's see the importance of winds, followed by moisture and precipitation in the video.
Wind. Air always remains in motion. Sometimes it moves horizontally and sometimes vertically. The horizontal movement of air is called wind. Air moves horizontally from an area of high pressure to an area of low pressure. Thus, the air moving in a direction which is essentially parallel, horizontal, with the Earth's surface is called wind. The speed of wind is measured in kilometers per hour. The instrument used to measure the speed of wind is called an anemometer. Humidity. We know that water vapor is always present in the atmosphere. The amount of this water vapor is called humidity. The moistness or the dryness of the air depends upon the atmospheric humidity. Weather is said to be humid when the water vapor content in air is higher, and it is dry weather when the water vapor content in the air is lower. Rainfall depends on the level of atmospheric humidity. Rainfall is high in areas like Mumbai because it is near the Arabian Sea. It is low in areas which are far away from water bodies. The instrument used to measure humidity of a place is a dry and wet bulb thermometer. Humidity is given in percentage. Clouds. Water from the water bodies like lakes, rivers, seas, and oceans evaporates due to the sun's rays and form vapor. This vapor mixes with the atmosphere. It rises higher and higher along with the air. Due to the low temperature at higher altitudes, the water vapor gets converted into water droplets around dust particles. This process is known as condensation. These water particles float in the atmosphere. A collection of such minute water particles is known as a cloud. Precipitation. The wind blows the clouds from one place to another. We get rainfall from the clouds. This is called precipitation.
Girls, now that you have seen the next element, that was moisture and precipitation. So let us learn something more about moisture and precipitation. Now you all know that there is water vapor present in the air. Now this amount of water vapor in the air rises. It goes higher and higher when the sun's heat converts the water from the oceans, seas, rivers and lakes into water vapor, and therefore the coastal areas always get more rainfall than the places which are away from it. Now girls, remember one thing, the humidity in the atmosphere is called moisture. So humidity means what? It is the amount of water vapor in the air. I repeat again, humidity is the amount of water vapor in the air. Now water, it starts evaporating. Why? Due to the heat of the sun. So now when the air is saturated means when it gets completely drenched, it gets completely soaked with water. Now there is no room left for it to take in any more moisture. And then the hot water vapor rises up. It goes up and it turns into clouds. Now the clouds play an important role in regulating the daily weather. During the day, the clouds control how much of the sun rays have reached the earth. So you see how the clouds are playing an important role, no? They are taking control of how much of the sun rays have reached the earth. And remember, even the more the clouds in the sky, the less will be the sun rays. Now at night also, the clouds play a very important role. Okay, they check how much of the absorbed heat gets released back into the space. Therefore, the clouds are like a thermal blanket and they keep us warm at night. And the last we come to precipitation. Precipitation is in any liquid or frozen water that forms in the atmosphere and it falls down to the earth, like rain, snow, hail, etc. Girls, now that we have completed with weather and its elements, let us focus upon climate. You must have noticed that each season lasts for a particular period and each season occurs at a particular time of the year. The scientists observe the weather in a region for many years. With the help of such studies, they define the mean weather conditions. The average weather condition of a place observed over a long period of time is the climate of that region. Climate is generally expressed as cool and dry, or hot and humid, or hot and dry, etc. So now let us see to the factors of climate in this video.
Goal 13 of the Sustainable Development Goals, Climate Action, Factors that Influence Climate. Meet Steve. Steve just moved to a new city in the same state, but quickly noticed the difference in climate. He stopped seeing snow, noticed more flooding, and had to get a whole new wardrobe. Steve was not expecting the change, and wondered why things were so different in his new home. Luckily for Steve, a little research was able to shed some light on his situation. Steve learned that different factors contribute to an area's climate, including elevation, wind patterns, and vegetation. Examples of these include climatic conditions, like colder weather in higher elevation, and building height and placement affecting the wind patterns of cities. Other factors that can influence an area's climate are ocean currents and the surface of the Earth. Ocean currents bring in warm water that affect precipitation, and different Earth surfaces either absorb heat, like areas with heavy vegetation, or reflect it, like areas covered in snow. Steve now knows all about the factors that influence climate. Next time he wants to move, he knows exactly what to consider.
In this video, we have seen the different factors that influence climate. Now girls, remember that the climate affects the entire living world in different ways. Life mostly thrives in the region which has a favorable climate. And this climate also influences the diet, that is the food, the shelter of the living things. The distribution of water on the earth is also a controlling factor of the climate. So girls, hope you have understood the difference between weather and climate. That's all for today's class. Girls, kindly complete the homework in your notebook. Thank you and God bless.